Hayes. And Jean, I think I need to reach out to Jean again, see if she was having some time issues. But everyone else is here. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I guess the first order of business is to review and approve the minutes.
Erin, you did a wonderful job in recording the minutes and the details of our discussion on the potential ordinance changes. So I wanted to thank you for that. That was very well done.
Someone like to make a motion?
That we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
And so I forget the statement I'm supposed to make.
All
so-
in favor,
All in favor.
Aye.
all opposed.
All opposed. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so tonight, first we're gonna talk a little bit about our event. I did reserve our space for the date in September with Ivory Crockett Park and
What date in September?
hang on.
I don't know if I can do September.
I think you had a game.
Yeah, October 23rd was a date I was actually looking at potentially. And then we had also talked about potentially, I'm a terrible event planner.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not very good at it. But I know that Chief Curtis also, when is night out? Normally it would be next week, but the city of St. Louis changed it to October 1st or the first Tuesday in October.
They actually allow 2 dates now. They did the one in August, but they did also allow October because August obviously is sometimes they're very intemperate. So ours is going to be in October. That's what we plan on doing ours.
October.
Mhm.
And so someone had the potential idea of tagging along with that event. And I don't know how that would work, but maybe branch out in the community as board members and attend those events potentially.
We decided on the 25th of September. You want me to change that?
Okay, let me look.
I mean, we can change it.
Well, the other problem is I am gone. I am out
Mhm.
the entire second half of August.
Okay.
And
Let me look at the other date was
October
October
23rd.
23rd. Okay. How do we want to go with that one? I can contact Parks and Rec.
That's
That
generally,
works with me.
pardon?
Works with me. Both dates are fine with me.
What about others? Let me
Whatever,
try.
whatever day works for you all is
Mhm.
fine with us. We'll make sure we have people there.
Okay,
That'll
so
give
I'll,
us well, the other thing is with this pandemic kind of rearing
Yeah.
its ugly head again.
yeah,
With the
Yeah.
Delta variant, and we're not, I'm hoping it's calmed down by then, especially with, the reinstitution of the masking. And hopefully increased number of vaccinations, that
mhm.
by October, it may settle down a bit. I'm not sure by September if it will.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because there was a stipulation in there about the number of people we can have because of COVID restrictions. So I'll contact them
okay,
and we'll
that'd
go
be,
with the October date.
yeah, October 23rd. And generally it's cooler then than in the end of September as well.
Yeah.
And then Angela, you and I can get together at some point, maybe after I get back from our long trip in August, to kind of, I'd love to meet you at Ivory Crockett. And I know Mr. Crockett is elderly, but I know that he has attended other events, and it would be great for him to be at that event
Oh, that'd be
If-
cool.
if possible. He's an
Well,
awesome guy.
Let me see what I can do. Ivory, I've talked to Ivory almost every day in the last week for one thing or another. And he was in City Hall a couple of days ago, and I think we might be able to do something. Just let me know as soon as the date is confirmed, and
Okay.
he's in my cell phone now. So I think maybe I can see what I can do to get him to come. I think he'd love that.
So
Yeah.
Kevin, are you and Angela planning the event?
I was actually going to say, I was prepared today to kind of bow out because I know we said we only wanted a few people. So
I'll still hang in there with you, Kevin.
Yeah, I am absolutely horrendous at planning events and that kind of stuff.
I got
but
you.
I'm a good gopher,
Good.
but I thought about kind of branding it, if you will, as Picnic with the Police.
Mhm.
I don't know how, it's hard to gauge how many people would attend. So I don't know if we, could provide box lunches or something like that, because that would be very difficult to try to determine how many people are actually going to be there. But there are probably businesses in Webster, as many restaurants as we have, that,
I talked to the mayor a little bit about this. We were on emails trying to figure this out earlier.
We're just,
So-
yeah.
Yeah,
um,
we're
Yeah,
working on
maybe-
that.
Why, we just get somebody to cook some hot dogs on the grill would be
We
really.
can, I think my
I can
husband
do
is
that.
volunteering himself.
Yeah, I think that's really the easiest thing to do
Yeah.
instead of planning on box lunches. You get
Yeah.
a big box full of chips and a couple of hot dogs.
I
and
agree.
You're in good shape.
Oh, we need
Yeah.
dessert.
Hmm?
To bring him out. We need dessert to really get him
Yes,
there.
we,
Ice cream.
okay, Scott.
That'll bring him in.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, so we'll work on that.
Okay.
And Angela, you and Kevin and I can get together. Let's set a date. Let's go by email and set a date. Angela, I know you were trying to bow out, but we need you desperately.
You can
Um,
give me a task. You can
okay.
give me a task directed. I'm happy, like Kevin said, to be like a gopher or go do this. If you give me a specific, I can work it in.
I'm very good at
That
giving
would be helpful.
tasks.
And
Very
I'm a
good.
good food planner,
I-
so
Good.
I imagine.
that's the one thing I can contribute. I can do the food. planning.
Awesome.
Cindy and Kevin, I'm sorry, I just want to correct myself. I just checked because I just remembered that they would looking at a change again. We have done it in October in the past, but we are going to do it in August this year. It's an event at the pool too. So actually, if we do it in October, that'll be a good separation. We can actually have a couple events.
Awesome. Okay. Tonight, we're going to work on the mission part of our mission and vision. And let me just share my screen. Hang on one second.
I think Tina Clark Scott is on the call with us too.
Tina, are you
Hi.
there?
I am.
Hi, Tina. Welcome.
Hi.
We're
Hi,
so glad
everybody.
you're
Thank
here.
you. Thank you.
We're glad you're here. You came at a really great time. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome, Tina.
Okay, so the goals for this process, I kind of just snipped it off of something. It's really important that we are actively involved in creating a mission and vision, because it's about us and what we're here for. So there is a process, as you can see, for developing a mission statement. Tonight, we're going to do those 4 pieces where we create a winning idea. We do a SWOT, which is basically strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Want to clarify our goal, and then we'll write the statement. And our next meeting, we can do some of the work for the vision and also look at that survey. So basically, what is a mission statement? It's words leaders, and we're the leaders, used to explain an organization's purpose and direction. And tonight we're going to look at that mission statement. It's basically, it tells our purpose, primary objectives. It should be written in present tense, explains why we exist, and it's short, clear, and very powerful. And the vision statement is all about the goals and aspirations, and it's meant to inspire, and it's very much timeless. Here are some examples of mission statements and vision statements. Walgreens, theirs is champion the health and well-being of every community in America. Dow Chemical Company had become the most innovative, customer-centric, inclusive, and sustainable materials science company in the world. An example of a vision statement, that timeless statement from Amazon, which gets lots of the NOI money. Our vision is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online at the lowest possible prices. And the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the vision of ASPCA is that the United States is a humane community in which all animals are treated with respect and kindness. So let's kind of share ideas here. I'll take some notes over here on my end, unless someone wants to take notes in the document itself. Please do so. Everyone has access to it. So we want to talk about our why statement. Why are we here? And before we do the SWOT, let's just kind of quickly, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oops. Okay. So why are we here? You know, why do we have the Police Community Engagement Board? Some thoughts on that.
From what I recall, to strengthen and build a more positive relationship between the police department and the community, I think is our main.
Mm-hmm. Would anyone like to add on to that? Thank you, Angela.
I think creating a forum or an atmosphere of open dialogue and a free exchange of ideas, not only from members of this group, but members of the community at large as well.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Anything else come to mind?
Well, I wonder if something more specific about anti-racist agenda. I mean, part of what's pushed this into the discussion, that there's been concern, and we have some direct statement about that, that we want to make ourselves more aware of and share that with our community, and commit both the police and the community towards that agenda. So I don't know if there's a way to say it in a better way, but.
Thank you.
Well, it's been mentioned to promote healing as well.
Promote healing. Okay.
You know, and Angela said, you know, so well strengthen and build positive relationships. And I think I guess you could probably shorten my comment about through improved communication
Okay.
between.
Okay, got it.
between the police department and the community.
Something else, I'm sorry, let me let you,
Mhm.
right. Something else came to mind, just the whole idea of listening.
Listening.
You know, I think it's so important. Sometimes we are caught up in everything else that's going on, but really listening, we have an understanding of what the needs are, you know, from the police department or from the community. And then also the whole idea of service. You know, we're serving, you know, both those entities. So those couple things come to mind as well.
Let me just kind of read through some of these because these are really good. Strengthen and build a more positive relationship between the community and the police through improved communication, an atmosphere of open dialogue, free exchange of ideas, including the community and the board. Really making a direct and intentional statement about anti-racism and anti-racist agenda, and making sure that we include listening and service in what we do. And as we move towards the SWOT, we will kind of just process through what are our strengths, and we've mentioned several of them in that opener. What are some weaknesses or some areas that we will struggle? What are some opportunities, and what are the threats? So, you know, I just want to start with the positives. What do we, as a board right now, what do we do well?
I can go, or
Oops.
I think we communicate well as a group. I think we have a great commitment from the chief and the mayor and who they represent in our community that are really actively engaged, not running the board, but we're communicating well with one another. And I feel we have a very diverse and accomplished board of committed people that have great accomplishments outside of this.
Thank you. Wow, that's really great, Scott. Other strengths.
I think we welcome, at least I feel, and maybe, you know, maybe others don't, but I think we welcome outside participation
Mhm.
and if involvement through, you know, openly inviting folks to attend the meetings, to listen to what we have to say, and then, you know, one thing I'd like to add back to the why are we here? I
Yeah.
think it's also something that I read in a lot of the comments from the survey,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
it was a lot of the folks were interested in how the police are being trained. And so how we can provide knowledge to the community about the police department policies, procedures, the training that they're receiving, all those. So really, as a group, providing knowledge to the community about the Webster Groves Police Department.
Okay, thank you.
And we've done some of that,
Mhm.
you know, not only through the survey, but through open discussions about particular events that have occurred
Yeah.
and situations that have occurred. So, but I think that one of our strengths is we do welcome outside participation and outside ideas.
Mhm. Anything else before we move on?
Can I add something? Because I
Sure.
think what we all do is we model respect for each other, respect for the police department, respect for our community, respect for differing opinions.
Thank you, Mayor.
I also think our strength is the forum that we have, the board itself, to be able to listen, explore ideas, and
Mhm.
help our community to be more healthy and to heal.
Good, Angela.
Thank you, Angela. Okay, moving on. Weaknesses, it's hard to talk about these things, but if we're going to be open and honest, where can we improve in regards to people, resources, systems, procedures? What kinds of things can we improve upon?
I think our communication with the community.
Yeah.
And, I know we mentioned before the meeting, and thank you, Kevin. I was going to share the same thing, that I did see some of the marketing about the board, in particular the survey, in the venues that he mentioned. I also saw a post on Twitter as well. So,
Mhm.
I wanted to thank, Chief Curtis for, just hearing some of the suggestions that have been shared and trying these different ways of creating the awareness in the community. So I think our weakness is creating that awareness that we exist, we're working and having that, methods of communications in place where people know we are here to engage.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Good
would
point.
totally agree with that, that I think that
Yeah.
that was our biggest weakness since we started is letting people know that we're here.
Mm-hmm.
There were several survey responses that said, I didn't even know you existed.
Yeah.
So I think that was, but we're a new board, so I don't want to make excuses, but that's probably one of the reasons, but I think we need to do a better job of that. I totally agree with Angela.
Yeah.
And Kevin, I just thought about what you said. The board is still relatively new and we're still learning. So that's the thing that we can put it down as a weakness, but I think we have to know that this is a learning process. I don't think, I didn't start with you all, but I don't think you all had a manual or something that said when you go about doing this. So, definitely think we should consider that as well.
Well, and especially with COVID going on, it's been just so challenging because
Yes.
our biggest goals are there to provide awareness, but we're having trouble getting live meetings, which is our greatest desire. So clearly community awareness of us is the number one.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we communicate with new media? Seems to be a weakness. We don't know how to handle it. We're all figuring that out in every way.
Yes.
Cindy, if I can
Yes.
interrupt just briefly. I was going to wait till the end of the meeting, but this is kind of maybe an appropriate time to do it.
Sure.
The council has suggested that all the boards return to in-person meetings. And I believe they're making an announcement on that. So unless there's some serious objection from the board, starting in August, we can again convene in person. Zoom will also be available, but the public can attend in person. The board will be there in person, but they'll also be able to attend remotely. So I think that will maybe help a little bit as well.
Good news. Where do we meet?
We're because of that, rather than meeting in the police conference room, we'll meet upstairs in the council chambers probably.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, because
Okay.
that's a much larger room than the police board
My
room.
guess is the mask mandate will probably still be in effect, but
Yeah.
the in-person we'll be able to do it. That's a pretty large room.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Well, one thing that I thought it was a weakness, and maybe I'm not going to speak for everyone else, but it was a personal weakness. Chief Curtis presented a ton of material to us early on, and I did not take initially the time to go through a lot of that material. It was a lot. I mean, there was a CD that was completely loaded with police procedures and policies. And so I think that we didn't really, we didn't break that down and discuss that enough in our early meetings. If we can somehow, and that goes along with, again, sharing the knowledge or increasing the knowledge that the community has regarding the police department and how it operates. And we didn't take a lot of time to do that. And I, as the former chairman, if I look back on it, that's one thing I wish I would have done more, is to just, it was so overwhelming, I guess, that, you know, the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I think that sometimes that's what I needed to do as former chairman, is to actually go in and take individual items and discuss them a little bit more openly, so that the community would have a better knowledge about the police department. So, I mean, certain items came through because of they naturally came through because of certain events that occurred. You know, the George Floyd incident, you know, talked about the chokeholds and the respiratory restraints and those kind. But there are a bunch of other policies and methods of training we've touched on, but we really haven't focused attention on it. And really, I think, to me, I don't think we've done a great job in sharing that knowledge with the public.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, let's move on to opportunities. So within reason, we don't want to go pie in the sky. Where are the points to capitalize on something? What are some opportunities that we have before us where we can turn perhaps a strength into even more of an opportunity for us, or you know, maybe we can convert a weakness. What are some opportunities? I think one thing, you know, I'll kind of chime in here. I think one opportunity we had, and we should continue to utilize it. I cannot say enough about that meeting we had with those young college students. I think that's a resource. The young people in the community are a resource to us. And, you know, it's probably because I work with young people, but young people are brutally honest, and we can learn a lot from them. You know, it's just, I think it's a real opportunity to have young people and their voice.
I think we can do a better job of, we have an opportunity to share now that we have some ideas that have come from the community. We can share those ideas more frequently, and then discuss them.
I'm hoping the survey will help us when we go back and look at the police procedures and policies, help us pull out the bullets that the survey says people are asking about. We want to know about these various policies. We can pull them out, make bullets. It's an opportunity to go with, from what you're saying, Kevin, was our weakness. We're just getting all this information and it's encyclopedic at times, but now we know what we're looking for, what we need to highlight, what our community wants to hear about specifically, and we can specifically dig into that.
That's a great point.
Share.
Be very responsive to the community. Yeah. Anything else?
I think something that we talked about earlier, I think we have the opportunity to reflect upon our experience thus far, and think about those things that we've learned, and you know, some things that we can now make some more intentional efforts to, you know, fulfill the purpose of the board. And that may include even developing some structure and the mission statement, those things that we're working on right now to help guide our efforts.
Thanks, Angela. Okay, now what kinds of threats, obstacles from the outside that can interrupt our efforts?
COVID was the first thing.
I was thinking that too. COVID restrictions. Anything else?
I felt the sunshine law still, or something, still trying to, I know I've been educated many times on it. Just, we have to work within that, and that
Yes.
was,
A good point, Scott.
that's my naivete. Yeah.
I think a threat is really I don't know what word to use to describe this, but, and it's not just this board, but it's really city government, state government, federal government, the whole, is the lack of the participation from the community. There are a few community members that are actively participating, and thankfully so. But there are many others that don't actively participate. And I think that's a threat to us doing our work, because we want to reach as many members of the community as we can. And I would like to somehow, and I don't know, Mayor, you struggle with this a lot too. How to get more people involved in. I mean, we have 2 attendees right now that are attending this meeting outside of the 9 members here. I would like to see that substantially larger, and I thank those that are attending and listening to our work, but it's,
I wouldn't judge the interest by the number of people who come to a meeting, because I see that all the time. I mean, you can have a council meeting and have 5 people show up, and it doesn't mean people aren't interested. But, the interest comes from the survey and getting people involved in the survey. The interest will come when we have that event. And bringing people into that. And I think our threat really is probably not are finding ways to get people involved. I've often said, when we have issues that come before the city, it's really hard to determine whether you have 5 people who speak up. Is this something that only 5 people are interested in and feel that way? Or are there 5,000 out there who
Right.
feel the same way, but you don't hear from them? And it's just finding the various auto-sorted ways. But I think once COVID is over and we get out there, we get to more meetings and we do some more open things. I mean, we have lots of festivals coming up. Does the PCEB put a table up at the Jazz Fest and talk to people? I mean, there are all sorts of things that we can do to get rid of those threats that, people aren't interested in us. We have to just get out. Angela said, we've got to listen, we've got to reach out.
Mayor, I think I'm going to put what you just said. It's an opportunity. The festival's coming up.
Yeah.
PCEB doing a table. One thing I think might be a threat, and I don't know how to really say it, is just the national perception of our police. I think that's a huge threat to us moving forward, is that perception.
And the divisiveness around it, and the bias,
Yeah.
implicit and otherwise, don't you think?
Yes. Anything else? Okay.
I think that's really important that, Angela brought up the term listen.
Yes.
I think that's really important to try to mitigate some of that threat that you just mentioned, because that's a huge threat.
Mhm.
And I think we can go a long way by just, openly listening and accepting other people's ideas,
Mhm.
and not prejudging them.
Mhm. Because we're here to help build those bridges, make that healing happen.
Right.
And it all happens through listening and communication. Okay. Okay, so now let's kind of try to hone this down to something. So where can we make some connections? And I'll just kind of rattle off the notes that I took here. Listen for some connections. Some strengths: we communicate well. And we have the commitment of the mayor and the chief, and they have good communication with us and with the community. We welcome outside participation, openly invite people to participate in our meetings. We can provide knowledge about what the Webster Groves Police Department does and how they're trained. We model respect for each other, PD, community, different opinions. Weaknesses may be, oh wait, one more. One of our strengths is this board and that we are looking to make healing occur. One weakness, communication with that we are here. I think overall that's what we were trying to get at. We're still learning, but we're trying to get the word out that we exist. And making sure that when the chief brings us material, we discuss it and we try to synthesize that and put it back out to the community. COVID's limited our ability to communicate well with this new media, but hopefully we'll be in person more. Opportunities: young people within the community, sharing ideas suggested by the community through the survey. Reflect upon our experience thus far, be more intentional as we develop some of our structures, and this is one of our structures that we are doing. Maybe perhaps putting ourselves out there more physically with some of the upcoming festivals. Threats, COVID restrictions, the things we have to do to operate with sunshine laws. The lack of participation from some of the community is a concern, and the national perception of the police and the divisiveness around that. So within that, can we put some of these things together? Can we, let's first talk about what we cannot do. Let's just kind of take some things off of our plate. What's not critical for the board at this very, very moment are things we can't control, like COVID. We can't control any restrictions around this pandemic at all. So, we'll have to operate we'll just have to operate within systems with that. Any other things you can think of, or can you make some connections at this point? Maybe this is too much in the weeds and we can move on, but any thoughts?
We can't make policy.
Okay, we cannot make policy. And we cannot govern. Chief, you say it all the time. We're not a oversight entity for the police. I think that's how you say it. Is that right, Chief?
Excuse me. Yes, that's correct. It's not an oversight board.
Or investigate. We can discuss, but we can't really participate in any kind of investigation. So oversight and investigation.
I do want to repeat though, it's not an oversight board. It's definitely not an investigative board, but as I think we've demonstrated, if there are questions or if there is an incident where you are the community that you think would be beneficial, we are more than open to doing everything we can to be transparent and discuss, things that happened, why they happened, and the policies and procedures that surround those things.
I think we can inquire to develop a better understanding.
Mm-hmm. I think because we are an open board and we're very transparent, I think that will help us in our ability to communicate and make those connections between the police and the community. We're good communicators, and we are actively trying to make communication happen. So, so I think that that connection between the board and the community can happen easily. Okay. All right, let's move on to step 2. What can guide our understanding of our purpose as a board? You know, going back to those examples, I think it's time for us to actually begin to write the statement. And, you know, using all the information that we had, does anybody, you know, think for a couple minutes? What could be a good mission statement for a board such as ours?
Well,
Kevin, you had written one earlier. Let's see how
I
it.
did,
know
and
you wanna
I'm
put it out there.
hesitant. I am, but amazingly enough, we've touched on a lot of these things. And that's because of the open exchange that this board has always had from the very beginning. So I'll just throw it out there.
Okay.
Creating an intentional forum for the healthy exchange of ideas to build trust and promote healing between the Webster Groves Police Department and all members of the Webster Groves community, emphasizing positive communication, increased knowledge, and open dialogue.
I love it. I think we need to make it a little more concise. I wonder if we
Yeah,
can.
that's my problem always, is I'm too wordy.
So shoot it out to us one more time, Kevin.
You know, can I just say something before he shoots that out? If you notice for mission statements, you always have a verb. Overcome, emphasize, what was the other one that Walgreens has? Champion. So
Mhm.
when you listen to Kevin, think about what is the one, because if you're going to make this small, you're going to
Mhm.
think about what is the one verb out of there that you want to use.
I like communicating, but what else did you say, Kevin?
Let me repeat it. And you know, believe me, I do not feel bad about taking this and really just, you know, paring it down.
Don't worry, Kevin. We're going to rip it to shreds.
Rip
so
it
we're
to
gonna-
shreds, because it's much easier to edit than it is to create. So I said, create an intentional forum for the healthy exchange of ideas to build trust,
Build trust.
promote healing between the Webster Groves Police Department and all members of the Webster Groves community. And I think we might be able to take that out. So
Mhm.
build trust, promote healing, emphasize positive communication, increase knowledge, and I said an open dialogue, but again, I don't know if that's necessary either. So
So I'm
create
coming down
an
to
environment
create-
to, yeah, to really promote healing, emphasize positive communication, and increase knowledge. And but
How
there
about-
needs to be a
I really love build trust, promote healing, positive was that positive communication
yeah, emphasize positive
Okay.
communication.
and increase knowledge? Can we increase knowledge by, I don't know, I wanted to start with that, but I was gonna say increase knowledge by, no. Creating an environment
I think instead of creating, I think create. I think I agree with
Create.
Mayor Welch that needs to be a verb, some kind of action.
One verb for the whole statement.
Yeah.
Oh, one verb? Well,
Yeah.
we've got
One verb.
62
You notice
here.
all of it. Yeah, we do. We need one verb. Is it create, communicate,
We,
develop,
yeah,
explore?
we've got create, we've got build, we've got promote,
No, you just won't-
increase.
Engage.
build's a nice, powerful
I like
verb.
build.
I do
build.
too. It's, what are we building here? We're building,
A community of
Bridges.
trust.
we're building a community of trust, to build a community of trust. We're building trust.
Trust. Building trust, build
We're building.
trust,
We're building communication.
building communication.
We're
No.
building-
Or are we building communication?
Are we building positive relationships?
Building positive relationships.
And the positive relationships we're building is between the community and the Webster Groves Police Department.
So our mission is to build,
Building positive relationships.
build.
Something on trust. I want trust in there.
I know.
What can you say?
To build,
Relationships and trust, or
to build trust, communications,
Communication.
How about build trust by? And then you have
Build trust by
and then you have these other things.
promoting
By.
healing,
Promoting healing,
increasing knowledge,
increasing knowledge, emphasizing positive communication.
that's too much. Emphasize is another verb, Kevin.
Okay. Ah!
okay. It's like a math problem, okay. We got to reduce all the factors, so I like what you said, build, what did you say?
Building trust
Building trust by
by,
promote, I like promoting healing being the second thing, because that's so important. By healing,
Build trust.
healing
Build
Healing.
trust through.
through
yes,
healing.
yeah, good.
Build
There we
trust
go.
through.
Mhm.
We're about build trust through
Through healing,
communication,
positive communication, and increased knowledge. We're getting closer. And I want to say just an understanding instead of increased knowledge.
Mhm. I agree.
Okay, build trust through healing, positive communication, and understanding.
That's understanding is much less sterile
Mhm.
than knowledge.
An understanding of blah, 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 blah. Understanding. Through. Of the purpose of our law enforcement, of the build trust through healing, positive communication, and understanding of
police
The role
services,
the service.
the role of police in the community.
The role, I almost want, somebody said service, and I like that.
Police, yeah, I do too.
Yeah, Angela brought that up. Did we
Yeah.
lose Angela? Oh, she's back.
Angela, there you are.
Yeah, Angela brought that back. And the other
Okay.
thing that there's something else Angela brought up that I really liked.
She did,
Listening.
listening.
I love the listening.
Listening and healing.
Listening, yes, yes, yes.
Building
Somehow we
trust.
need to connect our work with the community.
Okay, why don't we take, okay, how about this? Build trust through healing, listening, and understanding.
Would it be a, could you say mutual understanding?
I'm sorry, what was?
Mutual understanding.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
Thank you, Tina. I like
yes.
that.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet then.
No, no.
No, no, no. Oh my gosh, that was really good.
That was great.
How can we add, like, maybe build trust between the community and the police department
Mhm.
through
Yes.
whatever it is we're throwing?
Healing, healing, listening,
Listening,
and mutual understanding.
understanding.
There it is.
My question is whether we listen, and then we communicate, and then we heal.
Okay, through
Ooh, listening,
listening,
I try to listen to them, then I communicate, then we heal. And you
communicating,
end with healing. 'cause that's
Much better order.
and healing. Wait. Through listening, communication. I forgot what you said.
Well, the order, I didn't want to
Okay.
change the words, you know,
Yeah,
Okay.
I love the mutual.
Yeah,
words.
don't forget mutual understanding, because I think that's
Trust.
really a critical
Listening,
piece in this.
positive communication, and mutual understanding.
period.
And then end with
Period.
and healing.
How do we
Oh,
add
the
healing?
And
Uh,
yeah, where does the healing come?
Through listening.
Through listening,
How about listening, healing, and mutual understanding? If we take, because if we're listening, we've got positive communication.
Mhm.
I don't know. Between,
Well, and if we have a mutual understanding, we also have positive communication.
yeah. I like mutual understanding. Between the police and the Webster Groves community through listening, positive communication,
And mutual,
healing,
and mutual understanding.
And
and
mutual understanding.
understanding. Okay, so this is what I've got. Build, oh God, I forget, was it building trust by?
No,
Oh,
build,
Build.
build.
Trust between the
In.
police and the
The-
Webster Groves community through listening, positive communication, healing, and mutual understanding. What you think? Do we
And
sit
it's
on it
really
a bit?
close.
It's
I mean, it's
close.
really close.
It's
Close.
Between the police and.
No, I don't think you need Webster Groves in there.
Okay.
Since it's a Webster Groves, I think
Okay.
that lessens your verbiage, and I'm
Yep.
always looking for smaller
Yeah,
verbiage.
it sounds long. Okay,
It sounds long. Take it out between the police and the community.
Yep, there you
community
go.
through
Through
listening, positive communication, healing, and mutual understanding.
Yeah, I like it.
I like that. Build trust between the police and the community through listening, positive communication, healing, and mutual understanding. I think
Look what we did.
I think it's
We
got
did
ring
it.
to it.
Well, I think
ring
that,
to it.
and we pick out, I'm going back to look at the SWOT
okay.
analysis, and we've touched on many of these things in that SWOT analysis. And we didn't touch on things we couldn't that's not critical for the board at this
Right.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And and the connections, where can we make connections? We touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, great.
Okay. Whew, that was good. Let me, hold on, I got something I have to do
I
here.
hope somebody wrote it down.
I wrote it. Just double checking to see if there's any comments. Okay. Okay,
Ooh, Kevin, look what we did to all your verbiage.
we did it.
That's
We did
awesome.
it. We got the one verb.
Hey, and I want to, I'd like to actually put Simone Biles in our prayers for what
Mhm.
she's going through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that
and-
she
and
had to
making-
step out.
Yeah, and making that decision, I just feel so, and it just brings up how mental health is such an important element in not only what's going on at that level, but also in policing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just, it's yet another thing that's happening in society that we need to be aware of,
Yeah.
that it's an issue. And Katie's brought this up numerous times.
Yes.
That is just, it's such an important element in society in general. And I just, you know, it's too much pressure
Mhm.
on
On
her,
humans.
on humans in general. Yep.
Yeah. At least she was strong enough to step back, and that's an
Oh,
important.
yeah, that's exactly
That's
right.
so important.
You know, and,
Yeah.
you know, I hope that, promotes others to do the same thing, that they can step back and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
I'm glad you did, Kevin. That's really important. Our next meeting will be in August. That'll be the 31st of August. We'll do our vision statement, and we'll also look at the data. Chief, you got anything for us for the next meeting, or got any goodies, some tidbits?
Is it the 31st or the 24th?
I thought it was the last, is it the 4th?
It's the 4th. Yeah.
Fourth Tuesday?
And there's 5 Tuesdays in August. So I believe it is normally the 4th Tuesday.
So it's the 24th. Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
And just a reminder that it will be an in-person meeting and open to the public in person and by Zoom.
Okay. Is there
On-
something?
On the 24th.
Correct.
Yes, we will be in person. Is there anything different I need to do for an in-person? This will be my first in-person meeting. I don't.
Not-
Same old, same old.
Probably put on a pair of shoes,
I guess I better put on some shoes.
Yeah.
I can't wear my pajama pants. Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, well, take care of yourselves out there. Be safe, be careful, give love as much as you can, and
All right,
have a
thank
good rest of the day.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks.
Good night.